Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel, especially if this is your first time. Now, tonight's presentation got a special treat for you. We're going to break down ETF that's actually appeared in the comment section quite frequently over the last few weeks in live streams. That ETF is going to be REMX. That's Van Eck Rare Earths. That's right, rare earth stocks. So we're going to take a look at the stocks. We're going to go into an article, take a look at some of the holdings of this ETF, see if the ETF is worth the buy, or should we focus on some of the individual stocks that we will break down in the VectorVest 7 system. So if you're holding rare earths, if you're thinking about playing the rare earth space, this is going to be just the video for you. So let's get started. All right, big event coming up. We got the Las Vegas 2-day investment seminar coming September 20th, 21st, 2025. You can achieve the VIP experience in person. Just go to vectorvest.com/Vegas to register now. All right, let's break down this ETF, the Van Eck REMX. This is a rare earth and strategic metals ETF. Now, out of the top 10 positions, it's going to hold 60% of the total assets in this ETF. The first thing I will note is that 4 of them, we got 2, 3, and 4, are Shanghai stocks. I do want to put that on your radar. And the highest holding, or the largest holding in this ETF, is a Shanghai corporation at 7.74% of the assets. Now, there are a couple other companies here. LYC, this is traded on the Australian exchange. There's actually a stock in the VectorVest 7 software on the U.S. market as well, which we'll take a look at in the VectorVest 7 system. We got ALB, Albemarle Corporation. Now, this company is actually based out of a native area to me, North Carolina, maybe an hour east from where I'm at right now. So we'll take a look at Albemarle as well. We also have SQM, MP. This is going to be probably one of the most popular stocks in the list that we speak of today. In addition to that, we do have several other holdings here, but not too many U.S. traded stocks in the top 10 holdings. So let's go ahead and jump in the VectorVest 7 software, take a look at these stocks. I also have some other rare earth plays, critical mineral plays that can be very valuable when trying to trade this space, being UUU along with US antimony. All right, we're in the VectorVest 7 software. I've got 8 stocks along with the ETF REMX, what I'm calling it REMX. This is the Van Eck Rare Earth ETF. We see it's actually in positive territory, one of the few stocks here that are in positive territory. The leader today, uamy, up 1.38%. I will say this, I'm in the VectorVest contest, employee contest portfolio. I just entered in uamy as one of my holdings right now. I was in first place last week, but I got knocked back down to second place. I'm hoping uamy, there's a little breakout there. We'll take a look at the chart here in just a moment. I'll show you the trade setup that I'm looking at and that I'm currently in right now. Now, I will say this, there's not any value in the space. We take a look at US antimony here, currently trading 331. We valued at 298. Energy fuels overvalued. MP way overvalued. USAR overvalued. As I go down the list here, you can see all overvalued. So investors are willing to pay a premium, especially with all the news between the Trump administration and the Chinese government on rare earths. That news is driving these stocks higher, right? Because the whole point is to get off of Chinese dependence of these rare earths and critical minerals, which is going to expand, or logically expand the operations of a lot of these companies here, right? Like uamy, their value was only like 70, 80 cents, about 6 months ago. Now the value reaching almost $3. So the value on these stocks are rising, but not quite caught up to where investors have pushed these positions. If you take a look at RV relative value, there's only 2 favorable stocks in the list here that have favorable price appreciation compared to a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years. So a lot of these stocks here, not necessarily for the buy and hold investor. If we look at safety, no safety in this space either. What are we focused on right now? The technicals, RT relative timing. This looks at the short-term price trend. So again, all the momentum is in the favor of the bulls here. Every one of these stocks has an RT above 1. And some of them, very high ratings here, 1.7, 1.8. So there's a lot of magnitude behind the momentum. So if you're not into momentum stocks, this may not be the space for you. And I'm going to treat it just like Bitcoin and crypto. The best time to load up on these stocks is probably when no one is talking about rare earths, right? And it's going to take a long time, to build this infrastructure for the supply chain for the United States economy. So in the meantime, you can probably get some advantages and better deals when there's not a lot of news circulating, right? So just keep that in mind. As far as, sales growth rate, earnings growth rate, forecasted data, not the best looking. A lot of these are negative right now. The only one at the top of the list, again, this is not in the ETF. This is uamy, sales growth rate 128, growth rate earnings 46%. Now, other than that, you got UU, got 32% on the earnings here. MP's got 25% on the sales growth rate. And then after that, it's pretty, flat to negative for the most part. So again, not much forecasted data here as well. So again, I'm focused on the technicals when it comes to these positions, right? Investors are willing to pay premium. A lot of news in this space right now driving these stocks higher. So I just want that to be known and very clear for anyone that's thinking about getting into any of these positions. So let's go ahead and jump in the charts and see if there's any opportunities in the near future. All right, first one, UAMY, US antimony. Look, the price action here just broke above this descending trend line here. Buy recommendation, all the moving averages in our favor. We got a 3, a 8, a 20-day EMA, just to give us a good sense of trend overall. The valuation, the green line here, ticking up. The stock was undervalued not too long ago, now going back into overvalued territory. We value the stock again at $298, currently trading at $335. But look at the growth rate earnings on the rise, 46%. Sales growth actually faltered, but hey, dropping down to 128, still the top in the list here. Rising earnings per share and RT. Look, RT became favorable back on the 11th of July, letting us know that the bulls are starting to take over again. And you can see that RT was at 1.09, the close that day, 272. RT continues to climb with that momentum to the upside, currently at 1.73. As I go down the list here, quite a few stocks. We got UUU. This is Energy Fuels. It says uranium, but they do have their hands in some rare earth elements as well. Now, lower left, upper right, moving averages all in our favor right now. Currently above the 3-day EMA. If you want to look for any kind of pivot, look for price action to come back down to the 8-day or the 20-day EMA. But look at the value. It's flat. It's not rising like US antimony, right? So the stock is overvalued. Investors are paying a premium for this. Earnings and sales growth rate faltering. We got 32%, negative 32 for the sales growth rate. Earnings per share pretty flat over the last 3 months. So nothing too crazy here, but you can see the momentum picking up in this position. So if you're okay with a momentum stock, not a bad play at all. Here we've got MP Materials. We see the breakout here. We got a little gap to fill. If you want to buy a dip, I'd look for a dip probably between the zone here, about $47 to about $43. Otherwise, see if the momentum continues here. But if you're in this position, hey, the stock has gone up quite a bit. You pretty much got a bag in the last week or two alone. So if it drops much below this 3-day EMA, me personally, I'd get a little defensive on it, at least protect some of those profits. Because for the long term here, look at the growth rate, earnings, sales growth rate, mixed bag. Earnings actually negative. The EPS is negative 12 cents per share. And again, this is not the EPS you're going to see in your broker. This is the leading 12-month forecast. So as far as like a buy and hold strategy, that is not what I want to see for a position getting into. Here's USAR. Looks like a dark cloud cover with a gap up. We're going about halfway into the body of the candlestick now. A little bit further down, we'll get that candlestick pattern and see if we get any confirmation come tomorrow. But look at the valuation. It actually declined over the last 3 months. We value the stock at 93 cents, currently trading just over 14. So greatly overvalued stock. So be careful with this position here. If you're looking for any kind of pivot, look at the 20-day EMA. See if it comes back to that 20-day EMA. Look for a pivot. That could be a good entry point as far as any kind of pullback. But again, just like the other stock, earnings per share, this one was favorable, but now it's unfavorable, coming at negative 13 cents per share. So just keep that on your radar here. Now here's the REMX, the Van Eck ETF. This thing looks nice. Lower left, upper right, a lot of momentum. Strong buy ratings across the board here. If you're looking for any kind of dip or pullback, look around this 8-day EMA moving average here. That price actually is going to be around $45. See if we get a pullback. See if we get some kind of pivot with a follow through. Based on that follow through, hey, if you're comfortable with it, might be a good opportunity for you. But overall, that is the ETF that's going to play the space in general. So if you want exposure to a lot of these stocks, that would be a good one to look at. Now here's Linus Rare Earth here, coming in at 650, overvalued. A lot of consolidation here, but we can see we got a little bit of a breakout. If we use a horizontal line, there's the breakout right here. We got our retest on this line, bottom wick showing up. This might actually be a good pivot going forward. So I know the video is coming out tonight. Look for tomorrow, right? If we get if we can surpass today's high, right now it's currently around 669. If we can pass that by about 12 cents, that might be confirmation of a pivot back to the upside on this position. Now, as I scroll down, we got SQM here. This is a chemical fertilizer. This was a holding in the ETF itself. Not a lot of price action. It's about where it was 3 months ago. The buy rating's not very solid here. Big down day yesterday. It actually looks like a bearish engulfing candlestick. Follow through today. We're right on that 20-day EMA. See if we get any kind of pivot or any kind of positivity for the bulls. This might be the dip to buy, but otherwise there's a lot of momentum pulling back right now. The 3 just crossed below the 8. So be careful. The stock is overvalued. We only value the stock at $26. Right now it's currently trading $36. So yes, investors are paying a premium. And if you jump into this now, you are paying a premium. As far as sales growth rate and earnings growth rate, both negative. But what I do like, look, positive earnings per share. We get $3.07 of earnings per share with this position. So from a fundamental standpoint, that's not too bad. But again, stock is overvalued and not good forecasted data. So just keep that in mind. Here we've got Linus Rare Earths Mining Company. Again, the same scenario as the last one here. We got the breakout, looking for the pivot. The last stock here showed me a little bit more of a pivot or a bounce on this level of support now. So the other stock looking like the better trade setup, but just keep that in mind. Again, this stock is overvalued right now. Forecasted data, nothing spectacular. And the last stock today, we got ALB, Albemarle Court. This is based out of North Carolina. We see price action, nice divergence away from that 20-day EMA, showing momentum for the bulls here. Buy ratings have appeared. A little bit of a pullback here. We're seeing a level of support right now on that 8-day as we've seen before. So if we can hold at this 8-day and get back above the 3-day EMA, might be the confirmation we're looking for. Otherwise, if the bears do continue to take charge here like they have over the last few trading sessions, we could come back to this 20-day EMA, giving us a great opportunity here in the near future. Now, as far as forecasted data, both are negative here. Falling earnings per share. The earnings per share is actually the least in the entire list here at a negative $1.03, but with RT relative timing and favorable territory. Since the 26th of June, the close that day was at $63. Right now, price action sitting at $70.37. So it does look like some opportunities might come along with this position, but I do just want to put on your radar right now that the MTI and the VectorVest 7 software is overbought territory, right? So the market is a little stretched. So if you see some chop, if you don't see much follow through in the market, probably best to, keep these stocks in a watch list, put them on your shopping list the next time the market is presenting some opportunities. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation on the breakdown of the ETF REMX. Again, that's the Van Eck Rare Earth ETF. Now, it's always a pleasure giving these videos. If you enjoyed today's content, if you learned something today, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you found this information informative, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way we can keep you updated, keep you on the right side of the market going forward. Now, again, my name is Ryan. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow night.